Mike Cusack used to come down and take lessons, light music lessons off of my dad when he was at Vanderbilt University. So Mike Cusack is my sister's husband. He's a social climber. He's married into the McPhee family.
Okay. So it's your sister's husband.
That's right.
Mike.
Yeah.
I've also interviewed Mike, as you know.
Absolutely.
And it was a fantastic interview, actually. Pretty understated, and I don't know if to the viewer here, please get right on to Mike Cusack's interview, because it's very, very good indeed. It's an excellent, a great speaker, and
that's it.
And he spoke about his various travails about learning bagpipe and obtaining teachers. So
that's right.
He went to
he during spring break and during the October break and stuff like this. He would come down to Florida where we lived, and it was much warmer than where he was at. So he lived with us and for a week, and my dad would teach him pipes, and he enjoyed the warm weather and that kind of a thing. I think maybe that's how the romance started with my sister and him. And
sister's name?
Donna.
Donna
McPhee, Donna Cusack. My dad wouldn't take money. You know, Mike, listen, I owe you this and that, at least for food or this or that. He says, no. So as reimbursement, Mike's dad sent me to the Balmoral schools that were in the States, where Jimmy McIntosh and Murray Henderson taught at.
Yeah.
So he sent me to go to these schools, and that was as far as payback goes for taking care of his son and for teaching his son and that kind of a thing. So that was my first introduction into really serious kind of Peter. Was at the Balmoral schools. And
what state's that, the Balmoral school?
Well, see, they hold them all over the place. So there's the Old Dominion University I went to a number of times. It's basically, they hold them at learning institutions where they have places to live, like dormitories and a cafeterias, and then a learning environment like a classroom. And when school wasn't going on at that time at these universities, then people could rent these
premises.
These premises, and so it was very conducive to it. And I believe most of the schools that are even going along nowadays in North America, they're held at these learning institutions that don't have their local traffic that go on during their terms and stuff like that. So that's where my more serious Peter came from, and that's where my
was it Jimmy McIntosh?
It was Jimmy McIntosh, and it was Murray Henderson. Murray did the light music, Jimmy did the Peebrick. At that time, Alec Duthert did the drumming.
Yeah.
And I've got to mention that my first school, I went there, and you had a students' recital, stuff like this. So I played, and Alec Duthert came to me that night, and he says, "Listen, son, I'm needing you to come into my classroom." He says, when are your classes? And I told him. He says, "Good." He says, "Well, right before lunch, come in." He says, "I'm going to have you play the march I'm teaching these drummers." So I was like going, okay. So I said, "Yeah, great, whatever, you know." So took my practice trainer down to his room, stuff like that. And it was the Clan McRae Society, I remember it. And he passed me the pipe music, and he says, "You have a look at that." He says, "I'm going to have you play that with the boys here. So you just have a look through that. Have you played this tune before?" And I was like, "No." And
it's a bad tune.
Well, yeah. So, but like at that time, I could read what a low A was, and a C, and an E, and a high A, and I could read all the notes of the scale. But as far as reading rhythms, I needed somebody to play it for me, and then I could catch on to it. So I was sitting there, and I was like going, "Oh, God, I wish he'd hum how this would go and stuff like this." So anyway, the time came for, right, you ready to go? And I said to him, I says, could you hum me how this goes? And he goes, "Oh, right." And he was lovely. He was absolutely awesome. He didn't embarrass me or anything. It was, "Oh, right. right, okay, son, that's okay. So I went, right, well, maybe tomorrow we'll do this, or another day we'll do this. And so the boys went to lunch, and he says, listen, son, he says, are you hungry? And I says, well, it's lunchtime. And he says, well, he says, do you know how to read the rhythms? And I said, no. I says, I can read what notes are. I could read what the notes are, but as far as if you actually hum how it goes, I can pick it up real quick.
I mean, most people really need the audio, but well, just a quick fix.
He says, I'll tell you what, you go eat your lunch and you meet me back here an hour before next lesson. And he taught me how to read rhythms, and he broke it down. And so that afternoon and that night and then that morning, and through that, I was able to play Clan McRae Society to the drummers, and it for that week-long time period, any questions I had, and I was a guy that asked a bunch of questions, and so any question I had regarding music, simple time, compound time, all that kind of stuff, I was to go and ask him, and he sat me down and he talked me all through it, and it was actually it was great, because my dad never taught me how to read rhythms. He would go like what all pipers do. He would hand me the music. He would play me the music. So you pick it up, do this like that, and where you're not sight reading, you're sight hearing. And so that was a huge thing, and that was one of the great many bits of the Balmoral schools. They called them the Balmoral schools because it was the learning of the Bobs of Balmoral.
Yes.
That was
Mike Tosh is very keen in that.
Yeah.
So I interviewed him as well, and his interview was good. I went up to Tayport when he was across for his 90th birthday.
Right.
And interviewed him, and it's good. It's excellent.
Yeah. So,